Apparently, Democrats attempted to ambush Elon Musk and DOGE at the Department of Education this morning. Also, CNN and MSNBC get trolled by Elon Musk. These stories and more in this video, but let's start here.
Breaking news, what you're seeing now, or at least what we are told, not much, but that Democrats are meeting with the acting education secretary live. It's kind of trying to get a sense of what they're trying to do or trying to accomplish in this moment. I mean, we know that Trump ultimately wants to dismantle the Department of Education, or at least trim the fat, if you will, into as much as they can. Let's listen in.
Why did you call the Department of Homeland Security?
Yes.
This is absurd.
Were you told to stand here?
Yeah, were you told to deny members of Congress from entering this building?
There's no business purpose to be here, so that's why.
There's no business purpose.
We are members of Congress. Many of us are on the Education Committee. How could you say there's no business?
Are you making a decision for the Department of Education on your own behalf, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress?
They know that we are here.
Max, ask the question again. That's the important.
Were you told, are you making this decision to stand in front of this door on your own behalf, on behalf of the Department of Education, or were you told to come out here and block members of Congress from going to the desk?
Doing my job.
So everybody's freelancing.
What is that? We're doing our jobs. We're trying to save your jobs.
It's a non-responsive.
Show them your ID. Were you told to stand here, or did you decide to stand here and block members of Congress from entering the Department of Education?
To federal buildings.
Members of Congress.
All right, so obviously there's a few questions that we need to answer. Why are they there? Where is that exactly? And who is that guarding the door? Well, the reason they're there is pretty simple. They've already been given instructions, all right, as a party to go to every single government agency and try to protest whatever DOGE is doing inside the building. Now, we know what DOGE is doing inside the building. They are doing an audit. Where is every single penny of our tax dollars going? Well, in order to find that out, you got to go to every single agency and look at the books. Well, the Democratic Party wants to get in the way of that. And so that brings us to who's at the door? Well, private security. Because why would you have a mob of Democrats going into the building, disrupting that process? That's not going to be a good look, right? So that's why they have private security outside that door. And where are they is the Department of Education, which is one of those agencies and the headquarters of that building. But it continues. Watch this.
We are members of Congress here to talk with the Department of Education, and they're treating
The
us.
kids deserve to have us go in and fight for them.
This is appalling.
Children of this country deserve that battle.
This is a public institution. This is not Russia.
Let the camera see him. Let the camera see him. This man here.
Contractor. We are members of Congress.
Come in.
They're
and
blocking
I want you to
us.
see this man here, who is a federal employee. He told us.
He's not.
Are you a federal employee?
No.
Huh?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee. We pay him. We raise money to make sure that we have a Department of Education. Everybody that's hired at the Department of Education are here.
Now, think about this battle between Elon Musk and the Democratic Party that is playing out in the public in real time. Is there's a difference between what is legal and obviously what is not. And what Elon Musk is doing is legal. DOGE is an official department of the executive branch. Through executive order, President Trump has granted authority to Elon Musk and his team, which they all have security clearances. And what I find so interesting is the Democrats, they come out and they cry, they have access to sensitive information. Duh. That's why you get a top secret clearance, so you can access secret information. That's why you have something called a security clearance. And if they have that, then they're authorized to look at that information. And here's what President Trump had to say this morning. USAID is driving the radical left crazy, and there is nothing they can do about it because the way in which the money has been spent, so much of it is fraudulent and is totally unexplainable. The corruption is at levels rarely seen before. Close it down. All right, so now let me show you a clip where the media is asking him about Elon Musk during his meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan inside the Oval Office. Watch.
Elon is doing a great job. He's finding tremendous fraud and corruption and waste. You see it with the USAID, but you're going to see it even more so with other agencies and other parts of government. He's got a staff that's fantastic. He's wanted to be able to do this for a long time, and everybody else knew it was existent, but I think never so much when you look at USAID. That's a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Very little being put to good use. Every single line that I look at in terms of events and transactions is either corrupt or ridiculous. And we're going to be doing that throughout government. And I think we're going to be very close to balancing budgets for the first time in many years. I think we're going to be very close to, in addition to monies coming in from tariffs, et cetera, but no, he's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with it.
Now, moments before he gave that answer, they actually asked him a stupid question. Because just recently, I guess this morning actually, the Time magazine released a cover showing Elon Musk behind the Resolute desk. And you know what the media wants to do. They want to divide. So they asked President Trump, how do you feel about it? I guess they were assuming this would make him upset. But I think he's not upset because of the cover. He's upset at how stupid the question is. See this for yourself.
Mr. President, do you have a reaction to the new Time magazine cover that has Elon Musk sitting behind your Resolute desk?
タイムマガジンにイーロン・マスクが大統領の机の後ろで座っている写真がありますけども、それに関するコメントは何かありますか?
Is Time magazine still in business? I didn't even know that.
Let me explain why I said that was a stupid question from the media, because in that same meeting, the Prime Minister of Japan announced that he would be making sure that the company Isuzu, which is from Japan, opens up a manufacturing plant in America. I would think that would be great news given the poor job reports that just came out showing how much of a failure the Biden administration was as it pertains to creating jobs. But no, they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about who's on the front of Time magazine, which nobody reads. Now, in case you haven't seen the actual cover, here it is. It's got, word Time and then Musk behind the Resolute desk. And this is what they spend their energy on. Now, here's Congresswoman Maxine Waters going on to MSDNC to justify their ridiculous behavior.
Is this the new tactic or strategy Democrats are embarking upon to draw attention to the many things that are happening right now within the Trump administration? Should we expect more of these types of efforts?
Yes, you can expect more. As you know, we had thousands in front of the Treasury Department just 2 days ago. We were locked out. This is where Elon Musk had gone in and has access to all of the payment systems in this country, and who has all of the access to all of our private information, the Social Security numbers on everybody in this country, all of what is happening with the tax revenue, on and on and on, all of the bills to be paid. He has all of that. Elon Musk is basically a government gangster who's acting as president of the United States of America, and he is wreaking havoc on this country.
All right, so here's the problem with the Democratic Party. They're great at selling lies, and so is the media. And they're going to tell you to your face, no, Elon Musk is taking people's personal information and he's going to do something with it so he can financially benefit himself, when there's no evidence of that. But let's say we take what she just said as truth, that Elon Musk has access to this information. Do I need to say it again? He has a top secret clearance. Okay? Someone who has that level of clearance can access people's social security numbers all day long. That is not an issue. Okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is, if they go down to the Department of Treasury, they don't actually have access to do anything in the system. All they have access to is to look at the information. But they're going to lie anyway, because they know it doesn't matter if they're fact-checked, because they got the entire party and the liberal media pushing this narrative. Now, one of the funniest moments, in my opinion, was this exchange between Maxine Waters and the private security guard when she demanded to see his ID.
What's your name? Tell us your name. Give me that ID again.
Giving you the ID, I showed it to you.
So what?
I showed you the ID.
You do what?
I showed you the ID.
Could you let me see the ID again? Huh?
No.
No? Will someone else ask him for the ID? Will you ask him for it? He won't let me see it again. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. They didn't see it.
Clearly, this is one of the most disturbing things you've seen from her. We're talking about an individual who does not believe in voter ID. She says it's racist, but now she's demanding to see somebody else's ID. Make that make sense, please. Now, while she's too busy lying about what access Elon Musk and the DOGE team has and what they plan to do about it, why don't we hear what the truth is from the Secretary of Treasury? Watch.
First of all, when you say the DOGE team, these are Treasury employees. It is 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read-only. They are looking. They can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvement. So we make 1.3 billion payments a year. And this is 2 employees who are working with a group of long-standing employees.
The letter that the Treasury Department sent earlier this week talked about how the team currently does not have access to change the system. Have they at any point this year had the ability to make changes?
Absolutely not. This is no different than you would have at a private company. And by the way, the ability to change the system sits over at the Federal Reserve. So it doesn't even lie in this building. So they could make suggestions on how to change the system, but we don't even run the system.
That's according to the Secretary of Treasury. But again, that's not going to stop the media or the Democrats from trying to run hit pieces against Elon Musk and the DOGE team. Now, he did say something that was very interesting. He said, it's not necessarily the DOGE team. These are people who've been hired by the Treasury Department. And I think that's also what's taking place is each of these departments, they have hired people, brought people in. They are now employees of that department with the right security access to do the things they need to do to tell people where our tax dollars are going. Again, that does not stop the media from running hit pieces on these individuals, which led to one of them actually having to quit. And I can't wait to show you what Elon Musk had to say as a response. But let's first hear how funny and how embarrassing the media is when they try to run a hit piece on this DOGE employee. Watch this.
So this is a 19-year-old high school graduate who has used the unfortunate nickname Big Balls online. So that would be one way that we could refer to him. He is now working at Musk's behest inside DOGE. And we looked into his background. And so we found several notable things, Aaron, one of which is that this individual has founded multiple companies, including one with another unfortunate name, Tesla.Sexy LLC, which he established in 2021. He would have been around 16 years old. Now, this LLC controls dozens of web domains.
So, Kara, you hear this, and you have known Elon Musk for years. So now you look at these young men who are now in data and in the private information about maybe hundreds of millions of American citizens as young as 19, the big balls here that Katie's talking about. Most of them are in their early 20s. There's an exception I'm going to get to in a minute. I'm curious, though, Kara, how well does even Musk know these young men, do you think?
I have no idea. I think there is no vetting whatsoever, as you can see, that's taking place. It took Katie and the really great team. Wired has done an astonishing job here. I could make a joke that's probably why he was hired for all this ridiculous nonsense and other nefarious things. But, there's an expression in technology that's it's a feature, not a bug.
Okay, so let me give you guys some context here. This individual, they know what his real name is, which is also why he ended up having to quit, because they were able to pull up his other social media accounts and look into all of the posts that he put up as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old, which are a lot of stupid things, of course. And so he ended up having to quit. That's the first thing. The second thing is the domain Tesla.Sexy. This is how out of touch and deranged they really are. If you were to write the model numbers of each Tesla vehicle that has been released, you know what the word would be? Sexy. Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Model Y. But when you hate Elon Musk that much and Donald Trump, you can't think for yourself. And by the way, the fact that they're continuing to run with this story and call the individual big balls, it just shows you how caught up they are in all of this. Now, they weren't the other ones. Here's MSDNC deranged Reed doing the same thing.
I want to give you another one of the people that Wired, in their great reporting, has uncovered, has had at least some access to our data inside Treasury. It's a guy named Evan Korstein. He's 19 years old. He's a high school graduate. He works at DOGE. He has access to U.S. government systems. His professional and online history call into question whether he would even pass a background check typically required to obtain security clearances. Security experts tell Wired he runs something called Tesla.sexy, which operates a Russian website. He worked at a startup that hired convicted hackers. Someone using his Telegram handle solicited a cyber attack. And on his LinkedIn, and I apologize to the saints out there, and we know a lot of the saints listen to the show, he called himself Big, B-A-L-L-S. I won't say the whole words, I won't be vulgar. That's what he calls himself. So Big, B-A-L-L-S has all of our social security data, and maybe downloaded it, maybe didn't share it, maybe did.
Listen, I'm sure there are more quality things, more pressing things that the media could be talking about, but this is what they've been spending their energy on, of course, and this is what Elon Musk had to say. One of his initial reactions. This was actually on TV, and if you read the actual lower thirds there, Wired DOGE teen known online as Big Balls, now a government expert. That's what CNN is running with. So then Elon Musk put up a poll actually yesterday asking, do you want me to bring back the DOGE staffer who made inappropriate statements via a now deleted pseudonym? And of course, almost 80% of people said yes. And then someone in the comments said, this is from S.C. Robinson Jr. He said, Big Balls deserves a second chance. Seriously, though, have he talked to about that racist stuff? Not cool. And then he put true. Now, the actual staffer that had to quit, his name is Marco Elise, and I might be butchering that because, again, they doxed him as well, and they looked up his posts and thought that some of his posts were racist. And, of course, this was actually published by the Wall Street Journal, and this is the name of the journalist by the name of Catherine Long. She's the one that linked him to the deleted X account. And some users were able to find some of the posts. I haven't been able to locate the exact posts that they are crying about, but users are saying this, quote, you cannot pay me to marry outside of my ethnicity. They think that is racist, I guess, for some reason. So then JD Vance this morning came out and said this. Here's my view. I obviously disagree with some of Ella's posts, but I don't think stupid social media activity should ruin a kid's life. We shouldn't reward journalists who try to destroy people ever. So I say bring him back. If he's a bad dude or a terrible member of the team, fire him for that. At the end of the day, this is what the Democrats and the media are spending their time on, and I keep saying it like I'm blue in the face. They are not focusing on the actual issues that American voters care about. They are just caught up in the wrong things. And Harold Ford Jr. on Fox News echoed the same thing.
Democrats are still drowning in the cultural issues. I think you're right, Greg, and I think you're right.
Thank you.
Jesse.
Thank you.
But ultimately, President Trump, and what Democrats have to understand, he's going to be judged on whether or not he's able to deliver on the issues that got him elected. Can he deal with the economy in a way and make it grow and introduce America and sustain us in this golden age that he talks about, which I think really is dominated by how well you're doing economically. Is it going to make our communities safer, our borders safer, our borders safe? That's ultimately what this election was about. And Democrats, we didn't have compelling, convincing answers for the American people. And it seems like we're still fighting or litigating that. Now, as I tried to say in the first segment, you can't do it unless you have answers, which is why I think you have to get out in the country and listen to people, understand where their energy might be and even anger, and come back and talk about plans to do these things and how you'd like to work with the president. And remember, the Republicans are being blocked out a little bit, too. Offer them opportunities to work with you. And I think that you might find them taking you up on some of those things.
Well, I don't believe the Democratic Party emotionally can handle that right now, working in a collaborative effort with Republicans, because right now they are turning it into everyday memes. As you could see, Maxine Waters and the CBS host and Kamala Harris and the other congresswoman. I mean, this is what they're doing at this point, right? They're screaming. They're hollering, they're emotionally out of control, and they're not operating as a unified team directed towards actually doing something for the American people. And as a result of all of this, they are failing to understand the type of patience the American people have for Donald Trump. We elected him to disrupt Washington and tell us what happened to our tax-paying dollars and clean it up. cut government down. And we know that's not going to happen overnight. But again, they're out of touch. And that's why the Republican strategist Brad Todd on CNN said the same thing.
You know, in October, I was working on a Senate race in Pennsylvania, and I got to see a lot of research, focus groups, and polling. We tried to decide at the end, what should we talk about? Should we talk about immigration? Should we talk about the economy? No. The voters said talk about change. They wanted serious change. Period. Stop. Full story. They were skeptical that they would get it, by the way. They didn't know if it was possible. I think a lot of American voters have begun to think Washington is this thing that never can be reshaped. They're going to give Donald Trump a pretty wide latitude to make a few mistakes in how he reshapes it and how he pulls it back.
Okay, so we just have to remember, we're only 3 weeks in to this new administration. Obviously, if you use common sense, you cannot technically judge President Trump on anything at the moment. Until you give it time to actually see what the results are. And how long is that? I mean, at least 6 months. But I think the ultimate is going to be when the midterms arrive. So we're not even talking about this year. We're talking about next year. So when next year rolls around, where is the country? Has cost of living gotten under control? Has regulation been reduced? Has waste been reduced, right? Is the country believing we're going in the right direction? I mean, these are going to be things based on his campaign promises that you can judge him on. The problem with the Democratic Party, they're trying to prematurely judge him, and it's going to backfire on them. Now, here's Ted Cruz also explaining what's wrong with the Democratic Party and the media.
And I got to say, it's really striking to see the reaction of Democrats and a lot of folks in the media where they have convinced themselves that Elon Musk is the devil. I like the title of your segment just a moment ago about DOGE derangement syndrome, because it really is that Elon is living rent-free in their brain. And I'm grateful that he is working round the clock to root this out and end it. And it's exactly what President Trump was elected to do.
That is exactly what he was elected to do, even though Democrats would say that that's not what he was elected to do. Now, this other story, which I think you're going to find some level of entertainment, Kamala Harris finally visited the damaged areas of Pacific Palisades. We're talking about the California wildfires. And she definitely had to make comments in front of the camera, which you're going to see here shortly. And this is my question for you. If you can kind of leave me your answer in the comment section. Who do you think is worse at describing what's happening with the California wildfires? Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris? Hear it for yourself.
What goes through your mind when you see this? You're here, you're now seeing it up close.
It's not only seeing it, Alex, you can smell it. You can feel it, right? So it's seeing it with our eyes, and many people have seen it. You all are covering it. But to literally be on the ground here, you can smell the smoke that was here. You can feel the toxicity, frankly, of the environment. You can feel the energy of all of the folks who are still here on the ground. As we think about the future, we must, as a society, as a country, invest in adaptation and resilience. And we have to understand these extreme weather occurrences are extreme, but they are increasingly less rare.
Now, during that little mini press conference, if that's what you want to call it, she was asked about if she was going to run for governor of California. She gave us a non-answer. She didn't say she was going to, but she also didn't say she wouldn't. So I think you know what that means if we're talking politics. That's the first thing. Secondly, again, who's worse, Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris? Please let me know in the comment section. I'm still trying to wreck my brains over that because it's like they say a lot of nothing. I mean, what did she say in all that? I didn't understand anything that she said, so that's why I don't really have much to say. No pun intended. Now, since you guys will answer that in the comment section about who's worse, the governor, Gavin Newsom, went to the White House yesterday to speak with President Trump about the disaster aid and the water crisis in California that he's clearly failed to address, we know. But he ended up doing an interview on CNN, and let's just say it was a disaster. If you haven't seen it, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.